All right, and here we are with another edition of At the Buzzer here on the Mo Money Sports Network, the sports network for the sports fan. I am your fearless leader, Mo Money. With me, as always, my partner in crime. He is the bistro of basketball knowledge. Gee, how you doing tonight?
Doing just fine, my friend. It's the month of madness. It has
It is the
begun.
madness month.
I'm
If I
here
had a
for
decent Macho Man impersonation, I'd give it to you, but I don't. So
give me
we'll
your
see.
best anyways, but you can sneak it in at some point in the podcast. Just throw it in there and we'll see what
At
happens.
some point, we'll throw it in there.
Yo.
But we've got some things to discuss tonight, my friend. Number one, the brackets have been revealed for March Madness. Number two, the injury plague in Dallas. Number three, the fallen pride of the Phoenix in the Suns. And number four, just because I want to talk about it, I know you didn't see it, but we're going to talk about Cheryl Swoops a little bit, getting into it with the great Cheryl Miller on the other podcast. The up, is it All the Smoke or is it Up in Smoke or what is the name of the podcast there from the boys?
I got
It's All the Smoke, right?
I'll have to go to the experts on this one. I'm out of the loop.
Yeah. But anyways, where would you like to start, G?
Man, I think the March Madness takes the focus right now. All the attention is slowly pivoting towards the biggest tournament in sports American, not history, but
I
you know what I
agree.
mean. It's a big effing deal.
It is the whole effing show, to be quite honest with you. In March, there's no other feeling like it. And we talked about this a little bit earlier before the pod, but I'm gonna say it. There were a couple of things that really irked me about the way this bracket shook out today. And the SEC getting 14 teams is among them. How does a conference with 20 teams get 14 bids?
They're good at politics. I think that, that's my best take I got for you.
You're telling me that the conference that has 20 teams, that is a super conference, 14 of them get in? Absolute ridiculousness.
See, I'm a total like uneducated, part of the just mess of not really knowing the intricacies of the system, and I kind of like it that way because I do see is the frustration that tends to happen around the initial opening of the bracket because there's so much on the line for so many kids and so many teams, and it's everybody just wants the chance to dance.
Everybody wants the chance to dance. I love that. We might clip that and turn that into a short a bit later on.
Hey
But
man, so yeah.
I just had to vent about that because in a 68 team field, one conference gets 14 bids. I don't understand it. That is an absurd amount. That leaves 54 spots open. And you forget they give out 31 automatic bids. So when you look at it that way, that leaves 13 spots open for non SEC teams. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And I think to make it more relatable for people too, like myself, I think they should do a better job of like, yeah, breaking down just the key metrics of this whole thing, who and why are what chosen, because not everybody is super versed in it. I think they would do well to bring in some, people that would
Well,
speak our
it,
language a little bit, because the people
it's
I saw
never
trying to speak
basketball
it were
people
like
though.
the
It's never
committee of like,
basketball people though. It's
yeah,
always a guy in a suit that comes on CBS. By the way, rest in peace, Mr. Greg Gumbel. There, you served us well for 25 years. But it's always some guy in a suit that looks like he's never played a day of basketball in his life that comes out and tries to explain, well, this is what the committee was thinking, and nobody cares what you have to say.
exactly.
That's
They
the
need to make it
problem.
relatable. They need to make it something that can, like, use your modern communication skills to get it across to people, because yeah, old guy in the suit that has never been in front of a camera, that looks like he's, you know, been trained for a camera by those aliens from The Simpsons that were,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
try to take human form, and they're just kind of awkward a little bit. that's
yeah.
that's
I
that's
wish I
what I'm
remembered
picking
the
up.
name of those two aliens on The Simpsons.
Kong? No, I can't remember.
Krang or not Krang?
Frank.
Krang's Ninja Turtles.
No, we're close though. I think we're somewhere between that.
But we'll figure it out. And if you know it, leave it in the comments. But the second thing that I have a problem with is the other super conference, the Big Ten, with Michigan, Maryland, Wisconsin, and a bunch of other teams in it that looks very good and has the other 20 teams in it. Uh, you're gonna have to explain this one to me, G. Michigan beats Maryland on a buzzer beater with 0.1 second left on the clock in the semifinals. Goes on to win the Big Ten tournament, and they're a number 5 seed. Now, people might say, well, Mo, you're blowing that out of proportion. No, because that means you are at least the 20th ranked team in the country. And how can you be in a super conference like the Big Ten and you're the 20 and you win the conference tournament and you're the number 5? There's 19 teams ahead of you. Somebody's got to explain that to me, G. That makes no sense.
If we bring in those guys, I guarantee it won't make any more sense. So we're gonna have to find somebody that can speak the
Because
multi-language deal
I'll give
here.
you a list of teams in the Big Ten:
Okay, hit me.
UCLA,
Okay,
Oregon, USC. Any of these teams ringing a bell? You
all
know,
all of them, all the church
Michigan
bells
State.
on Sunday.
We got the Spartans. We got the Indiana Hoosiers. These are not what you'd call scrub teams. And
Mm.
just based on strength of schedule, you're not going to convince me that there's 19 teams better in the country than this Wolverine team that won the Big Ten tournament.
Hey, you know what the best part about all of it is that they get the chance to prove it, and it's not a long series of games, right? All it is a
Victories
few.
get you to the title.
It's just there's
I'm
no other
upset
tournament
for
like.
them. Does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense that I'm this upset, does it?
No, I think your feelings are actually echoed by a lot of people. I think that's a general consensus feeling around some of these things. But from my just tiny thing on the wall, I did see Michigan there, and those two big men are playing classic back to the basket basketball, where it's like, oh
Oh,
my
Wolf
god,
and Zelensky or whatever his name is. Yeah, they're
yeah,
good.
they are so fundamentally sound. It was like, yeah, Kevin McHale style, just like hook shot, smooth, little like,
By the
yeah,
way,
big men stuff.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. If you guys want to learn how to play legit basketball, watch a college hoops game, will you? You'll learn far more from that than you ever will in an NBA game. Trust me on that one.
Man, there's some
Uh,
exciting, like there was like 4 buzzer beater games. I think at the buzzer could really take advantage of this opportunity of how many buzzer beaters there are in
Speaking
March
of which,
Madness, right?
that Michigan Maryland semifinal game
As
was
long as
that
the
not
inbounder doesn't get the ball back. The inbounder got the ball. That's the funniest
and he
turnaround.
flew down the court. It
Oh
was like watching MJ on Space Jam when he was stretching himself out there.
man, seriously, it looked like out of a movie. Like he just was faster and like he just got the juice. It was a miracle thing to watch. It was so cool. That's my favorite thing about sports. It's moments like that.
It's all about the moments, dude.
Because there's
I
buzzer
couldn't start,
beaters and there's buzzer beaters, right?
and that was buzzer beaters.
Oh, those buzzer beaters. Oh man.
Like that Michigan Maryland game, and I said this to you before we started recording, and I'll say it again. That was the best game I've watched all year, college or pro.
And that's saying something. We don't watch a small amount of games. Eh,
No, you and I do not watch a small amount of games.
it's a couple a
If
day.
anything, if anything, I've been accused of watching too many games.
I've heard such criticisms as well come my way, but I'm not hearing none of it now. So that's how it stays.
Oh, March is my favorite time of year, dude.
Clear the calendar. That's right. Spring break is up and
And they were
happening out
smart
here.
enough to put March Madness during spring break, which is a double bonus for me.
It's time to let
Now,
down and go.
on to the basketball business. Duke did get a number one seed. They're playing one of the play-in teams uh after they qualify on Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day it happens to be. But how do you feel about this Duke team without the prized possession, if you will, of Cooper Flagg not being in the lineup for the Duke Blue Devils, potentially for at least the first round of the tournament, maybe the first weekend, or he could be back for game one. It really is up in the air. What are your thoughts on Duke with Cooper Flagg, and what are your thoughts on Duke without Cooper Flagg?
I'm going to pull a cheesy line on this one, but you can't separate them, and that's the best part. They're bought in. Remember when we were talking about leaders aren't really like chosen? They're just sort of
They're
they
found,
draw. They're
chosen.
found, yeah, and he's been found, and they found like you see the way that guys look at him and the way that he like looks at guys. They're just so fired up for each other in a meaningful friends brotherhood sort of way that they are so bought in, man, that they're so talented. They're young and stuff, but they're all sort of like united in their youngness together. And it's as the leader goes, usually the team goes. So even though he's down, he's not out. Like you can see the way that his vibe, even on the bench, is affecting the team on the court. So you can't even separate them. They're so playing for him when he's down because they know like he's their guy and they better cover his like when he's not there because he's covered them when they needed it. So there's this mutual beautiful thing going on. And hey man, they looked great without him on the floor technically. And they've got some really 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 talented young guys. And man, again, the leadership thing goes a long way because there's good players, there's all-star players everywhere, but there's something different about these guys.
Yeah, and that couldn't have been said in a more beautiful way because you know Duke did beat North Carolina, which is our arch rival, without Cooper Flagg. And then not only that, they went on to win the ACC tournament without Cooper Flagg.
These kids are
And
18.
the one thing I texted you was my boys got it done without Cooper. I couldn't be more proud of this squad because normally when your star goes down, there's a dip and a tendency to fold. And this Duke Blue Devil team didn't do that.
No, no, they came together and just kept fighting and rising to the occasion and showing what they are, which is the most talented 18-year-old team in the country, I think.
And
Long shot.
while we are on the topic of the Duke Blue Devils, we'll get we'll get shunned if we don't bring this up. The possibility of Cooper Flagg staying at Duke,
Zero. Zero.
zero. He's putting a percentage on it. He's like, there's no way he's staying at Duke.
It's like
And
even
the
if
reason I
every yeah, sorry, go ahead.
and I just bringing this up because it's a rumor that's going around that he's somehow going to make. I think the number I heard floating. I don't know if you heard a number G, but the number I heard floating was 12.5 million to stay at Duke. And apparently, the reason behind this rumor, and I must clarify before somebody clips this and says this happened on At the Buzzer, I will clarify this is a rumor. Um, the number I heard is 12.5 to stay at Duke. And the reason being is because they don't want him to go to Washington or Charlotte. And that is apparently the rumor I heard. First of all, would it be worth 12.5 million to stay at Duke for another year, or do you risk going to Washington or Charlotte?
What's the best analogy for this, man? I got a lot to say, but I'll try to say it with less. The best got to play the best. And the best know that. Cooper Flagg's the best. Unless it's for a hardcore mental or physical health reason to stay at Duke, there's no reason in the world he's staying.
So you're saying despite the money, he's got to go.
Yeah, this kid's already made no matter what money wise. So it's sort of a unique situation where he's gotten his money so early, like he's made. He's kind of like Wembenyama. It's now like, how bad do you want to be just great? Because all your bases are already covered just from you being a phenom. Now it's just like, what do you want to be? And he's pretty motivated to be great. And there's no way he would get as better. He wouldn't get as better as he would playing college as he would in the NBA. There's just no comparison. You're going to play chess against, your buddies or against some crazy Russian guy in the park. If you want to be good.
I tend to agree with you, despite my stances on players leaving college too early. I tend to agree with you.
In this particular case, man, it's choose your own adventure, but I think he's one way all the way, no matter what money you put in front. You could pay him not to, and I think he would still go play the NBA given the opportunity just for the sake of the competition. And that's maybe the best compliment I could say about anybody is he'd play for free.
Yeah, and well, if you enjoyed that first segment on the March Madness and all the other basketball content we're gonna bring you, hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff. Um, Now let's move on to the injury bug in Dallas because it's the most fascinating story that the NBA has at the moment.
No,
And
I've
let me
got
ask
I've
you
got
this.
better for you than that, but we'll address it right quick, no doubt.
No, I'm fascinated by this because there's a possibility that the Mavs, and I swear to God, this isn't a Nico thing, but the Mavs might have to forfeit professional NBA games due to lack of healthy players.
Now, as a fan of cheesy 80s sports movies and 90s sports movies, you're going to see where I'm going to take this right quick. And I don't want to derail the conversation, but I've been thinking about this for a while when I saw Toronto's strategy about, who can we put in to ensure a loss. It's the 13th man, buddy. It's time to bring in the fans. Open tryouts every Saturday at the main arena, and we're bringing in the fans. You know what I'm saying? It's time. And how fun would that be if the homie from the street that's just like a little, broken in this way or that, but he just hits threes. This guy's just unconscious and he gets a shot because what else is there? Open tryouts Saturdays at 3.
No, but
Make
here's the
making a
problem.
YouTube series, bro. I'm telling you, the 13th
Here's the
man.
problem. The Mavs don't have the money to sign anybody else.
People will play for free off the street, Holmes.
Yeah, I guess
Facts.
so if you got that dog and you show up to American Airlines Arena
That's what I'm
in
saying.
Dallas and see if they'll let you play.
Anybody. We could be G League. You could be coming from Antarctica. You could be coming from anywhere.
On a serious note, though, G,
Oh, I'm dead
do
serious.
you? I know you're serious, but on a more professionally serious note, do you want to be known as the NBA team that had to forfeit games due to injury? Like
I mean, those things are
how?
out of your control in some sense of like nobody wants to be that, no doubt. But what can you do about it? Right?
Okay, let me rephrase. Do you think the NBA will give Dallas a special exemption if they can't field the
What would
proper
be the
amount of
exemption?
players?
What's the exemption? Like play anyways with 7 guys?
No, like, do you think they'll give them extra money without penalty to sign a 10-day contract to get an eighth guy on the roster?
Oh, because they don't have any money to sign people?
They have less than $150,000, which is the minimum for a 10-day contract. So
What
they
about
don't
the
have
G
enough
League
money to sign.
guys?
They don't have enough money to bring them up.
Doesn't
They're
it?
out of money.
But if they're G League, aren't they already signed?
No,
Some of them, no.
the
Huh.
guys that are playing that are on two-way contracts are already with the team.
Man, I guarantee you there's some street ballers out there that would love a shot because, yeah, there's no way the NBA gives them exemptions or whatever. It's like if you've got that many injured guys on a professional team where you've got, you know, 18 guys
Because
any given
Dante,
night.
because Dante Exum just broke his hand, so he's out for the year again too.
Hey, man, this is some of the stuff I was thinking about with the tanking situation where it is like, okay, Raptors are putting in guys that are on 10-day contracts just off the street. And they're saying, yeah, we're just taking it's good because we can see who's got something and
But
it's
the
we're just
Raptors
taking a
have the
look.
money to make those moves because they're not at the aprons of the
But it's not
NBA.
good. It's not good. Basketball is not what the NBA is supposed to be about. I guess is my connection to this conversation is that it's a problem with the tanking situation and it's connected to an injury bug thing too where what do we do here?
I don't know, but the Raptors are starting to sit guys like RJ Barrett and Scotty Barnes and
Every night, like tonight was a perfect example. They have the majority of some of those guys and then Scotty and the guys that did play are sitting the whole fourth quarter
like
essentially.
I kid you not, I was watching the Laker game and all of a sudden at about 2 o'clock or 2:15, I get this notification that RJ Barrett is out versus the Blazers due to illness. And I'm starting to wonder if I can call shenanigans on the Raptors here.
Oh, you can start, but it's been going because it's like, yeah, it's so obvious. Like even in the pregame with Matt Bonner and stuff, they're like, all right, so yeah, we're taking a look at this, and that, and well, where the Raptors are at in this part of the season, so it kind of goes the way it goes there. But it's like they don't even know how to talk about the game because the goal isn't to win. So let me say this to the camera in case there's anybody out there listening, right quick. If it's just going to be an open tryout type of game that we're watching, bring in some fans. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious.
Is
It's if you're going to waste our effing time, I want some
season ticket
buy-in. I
holder?
want a character. I want a heel. I want a
Season ticket
bro.
holder?
It's ridiculous if that's the way they're going to pretend that it's a competitive NBA game.
We have to do it with Bronny.
and then we sit our starters because we just want to see how these guys do in a tough situation. Oh, you want to see how Castleton does? Really?
And you know what
You
happens?
need to know.
This doesn't happen in any other professional sports league.
It's it's an insult to the fans, so you got to make it up to the fans. What would be the coolest thing if you were a fan to see one of you get a shot? We love it when the Duke guy goes in, right? Number 55, the little dude. The
The
crowd
little
went
the senior,
crazy. He
the
didn't even
little
touch
dude
the
who's
ball.
the senior that hasn't scored a bucket, and you're just rooting for him to shoot because you want.
Rudy, Rudy, right? Like people love that shit, and I do too. So if you're gonna give us this, nonsense tanking, make it fun. Come on, that's a
And
real pitch.
and this is what I also see as a negative that some people see as a positive, is the play-in. Because I don't like when, especially in, I'll just say the Eastern Conference this year, because they're the weaker conference, at least as far as records are concerned. The fact that the Sixers could be 20-37 at one point in this year, and we're still talking about them as a legitimate playoff contender, is absolutely sad.
Or that the conversation so quickly turns to, oh, I wonder if they're going to get to keep their draft pick. Like, how hard or how masterfully can they tank to ensure they keep their draft pick? Because it's going to be
Well, they can't
dicey.
because they
They
beat the
can't.
Mavs today.
Yeah, they can't win too many, but they can't lose too many either. It's ridiculous. So, what are fans left to do here? Just watch games that don't matter, right? That's it.
Well, even the teams in the play-in don't care. So why do we have them?
Man, there's only one solution, and it's the 13th man starting here. You heard it
It,
here first. We laugh now, but there will be a moment when the 13th man comes in at 4 minutes to go in the fourth, and he gets a 3-pointer, and everybody starts chanting, Rudy, Rudy,
I'd
Rudy.
love to see it. I gotta be honest. I'd love to see it.
There's another short dude on Memphis. I can't remember. He's a Japanese guy there, and he's a wicked, wicked passer. Like he's got eyes on all parts of his head, and people love it, right? They just love seeing because he's like 5'4" in heels. Like he's a small dude, and he can play though. He can ball, man. It's yeah. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, my dude. That's. I just wanted to touch on that because are the Mavs gonna have to forfeit games?
Not if I was in
I
charge.
don't. I don't want to see that happen.
Hey man, if you're willing to
Just
play for free, come on down. I think the Knicks considered this once.
well, the Knicks need a new head coach,
Did you see him and
and
Josh Hart going at it on the bench there?
and I'm
I've
not
never
even gonna. I'm
seen
not even gonna mince
Thibodeau like that.
words.
He's like,
Tom Thibodeau, for his entire track record, is the worst coach in the NBA currently. I'm gonna flat out say it. I believe it. Tom Thibodeau shouldn't have a job in the NBA, and how he remains employed, I don't know, dude.
he's fading away is the unfortunate thing, and it's like we were talking about before this in the our conversation on the phone earlier today was like some guys stick around too long. They overstay their time in the worst way, and it can just ruin their whole legacy of any sort of positive experience
It
they had
almost
in the
happened to
world.
Phil Jackson.
And
It
it
almost
happened with the
happened to
Knicks
Phil.
too, right?
That's what I mean. It almost happened to Phil. If Phil didn't leave when he left, he would have been in that same category as Tom Thibodeau.
Because yeah, it doesn't look good right now when Mikal Bridges, the Iron Man of the NBA and all around nicest guy, is forced to go public with the fact that there's a concern over the starters' minutes, and then Jalen Brunson goes down, and he's just losing it on guys on the sideline like it's an HBO series. He looks like the Penguin sometimes, man. I don't mean to be crude. It's just sometimes the dude is an angry, miserable looking dude.
By the way, I'm just gonna say this: the Penguin on Crave here in Canada, excellent show.
You know what? I've heard nothing but good things, and I'm tempted
Colin
to get
Farrell,
into it.
Colin Farrell does an excellent job. This isn't a Batman podcast, but as long as we're talking about it, Penguin, worth a watch, everybody.
Hey man, that's a good tip. Sometimes there's a lot of crap out there, and I've heard like from very trusted people that I trust for quality that's legit. And I wasn't interested at first, but yeah, top
But
shelf.
anyway, back to the basketball, because that's what we do best around here.
Ew.
Yeah, it's a very turbulent time in the NBA because and I gotta talk about this too. If I'm gonna bash Dallas as much as I've done over the last 3 to 5 weeks on this podcast, the Phoenix Suns, where's your heart?
If any team should be sold, hear it now, hear it first. It should be the Phoenix Suns. Go to Vegas, put it out of its misery. Ah, cut it,
Dude,
paste
like
it,
what
send it.
happened to this team? This team I
Do you want to know? Matt Ishbia.
2 years ago, 2 years ago, this was the most feared team in the Western Conference.
Man, they've
And
had
now
so
and,
many close to the greatness and then just fizzled away.
and now they're the biggest laughing stock of the Western Conference.
Man, they have the biggest money going out the door this year for any NBA team. Nobody has spent more
Most
money.
money. Oh, by the way, we got to talk about one other thing in Philadelphia because it's funny. But that'll be after this Phoenix conversation. What is happening in Phoenix?
Man, it's the opposite of what you'd be wanting in any shape or form for anybody that you care about. It's just sad. Like I was saying, it depresses me to watch Devin Booker. He's lost the fire, and KD is just you know, a slower machine than he was before, and that's not very
I
exciting.
think Budenholzer took it out of Devin Booker.
I honestly am starting to think so. He looks like Rodney Dangerfield after, too much time in the sun lately. He just looks a
And
little
no,
wide-eyed, looks
because I remember,
exasperated.
because I remember there was a game last week. Even I remember where the ESPN. I can't remember if it was ESPN or TNT, but somebody had reported that Booker was going off on his team, and Budenholzer went and kind of said, "Be quiet. I'm gonna be nice about it and say, be quiet." And when your coach tells you to do that when you're trying to fire up your squad, nothing will take your fire out faster.
I agree. It's a slap in the face to all the things that they're trying to do, and I wouldn't be stoked about it, but
Like
I mean, the ship has
I
sailed.
remember, I remember watching the Phoenix game not today but the other night, and Devin was like, "We put ourselves in." Like you could see, he was still trying to be like, "We can still do this. We're still in good shape," because he was still saying, "We put ourselves here. We gotta bring ourselves out of it. Nobody's coming to help us." Like he was trying his best to motivate anybody, but he can't do it by himself.
I just had a weird thought. Like, I don't know why it came to me like this when you're saying it, but do you think Steve Kerr had anything to do with this?
Okay, now I'm confused.
Right? Follow me on this right quick. Devin Booker's a competitive guy. We've witnessed that his whole career. Da da da. This year in the Olympics, for some odd reason, Steve Kerr decided to start Devin Booker in a team of guys that you're like, okay, but okay, well, okay. He didn't have a great Olympics. He didn't have bad Olympics, But do you think there was a psychological warfare anywhere involved with both the Tatum and the Booker thing from Steve Kerr? Because he might be the nice guy. He might be all good. And this could be just complete conspiracy, but it just came to me to think, I wonder, because Booker didn't look normal through the Olympics. Like he looked like there was something off. And
Yeah, and it's
what's your
carried through.
instinct on all of this? Yeah, do you think there's anything, you know?
You want to know my instincts on Steve Kerr?
Well, and
And
specifically with the Booker, yeah.
well, I'm gonna lay it all out for you right here. Steve Kerr, the human being, love him to death. He'll stand up. He'll tell you what's on his mind. He'll advocate for people. That's just I
He's got
want to get
emotions.
all
He's got teary eye.
I want
He's
to
a
get
human.
all the niceties out of the way because I'm about to bury Steve Kerr here. But
Boop,
as a hu-
boop, boop.
but as a human being, Steve Kerr, top notch. I'd give you the shirt off my back.
Awesome. Same, same.
Okay, so now here I go. Steve Kerr is the most overrated, overhyped coach in the NBA. And he's smarmy. I don't trust him. And I think he's a snake. Because not only does this go all the way back to Mark Jackson when he said, and this is the Steve Kerr thing, he said it would take a lot for me to come out of this TNT chair. I remember he said that. He said, why would I go do that when I can sit at TNT and make a bunch of money as a commentator? And then the whole Golden State thing with Mark Jackson goes down. He gets handed a championship level Hall of Fame worthy squad, and he just sits there with the clipboard in his hand, acting all prim and proper, and he'd be fake mad for a little while to try and fire up his team, so it looks like he's doing something, and it irritates me how he operates because he thinks he's entitled to a winning program, and then he gets Jimmy Butler. And then he breaks the clipboard the other night, and he's like, "I'd rather take it out on the clipboard than the players." He's phony. He's a snake. I wouldn't trust him. I wouldn't turn my back on him. Steve Kerr, as a professional basketball coach, I think you're the most overhyped piece of garbage in the association because all you did was sit there for 4 championship rings. And here's the sad part: you're going to go into the Hall of Fame as a head coach, and you had 4 Hall of Famers on your squad before you even got there.
All right. So a lot to unpack, but we're going to.
If
Didn't
I'm going to be
expect it
fair,
to
I
go
got to
left.
be fair.
I mean, I don't know if it was completely fair, but I get your point. I get your point. And because he's got the same birthday as me, I'll come to defense for my boy here a little bit. I won't go into any too far, but could you not say then that if it is true that he's a bit of a snake and sort of two-faced and has that manipulative side to him, especially when it comes to basketball and profession, maybe he's not so overhyped. Maybe he's properly hyped because he does a lot of his operating through psychological warfare and things that you don't normally see. And it's not all peaches and cream. A lot of it is dark, mind games that he gets into people's heads. This is a guy that has been with Draymond Green for how many years? And it's like, birds of a feather, man. They tend to flock together. He has not gone too far from Draymond, and Draymond is a psychological warfare master. So I don't know. When I look at, Booker, I see a guy that has faced multiple resistance this year, not just the Kerr thing, but
You
then
know,
the Budenholzer thing. And it's like doubling up on that negativity from a leader that doesn't want any good for you. So Booker's gotten the shaft, I think, that way and hasn't risen above it. But Kerr, as it goes,
you know
couldn't you
what?
say that that's actually a good thing, in
You know what I
profession?
will say? I will go. I will go one step further. You ready for this? Hit the subscribe button because this might be the hottest take I've got. If Steve Kerr was smart, he would retire the same day as Steph Curry.
Oh, he's gonna.
That way he wouldn't be overexposed like Ty Lue was when LeBron left Cleveland.
Guaranteed, guaranteed that is what's gonna happen.
Go back to your cushy seat at TNT that you told us you weren't leaving.
I think he just rides out into the sunset after that. After he's done, I think he's out. He might do
That
charity
it'll
work
be the
out.
smartest move he ever made for his career, and
And
he
that's
is
the
a
thing.
Hall of
He's not smart, right? Like that's the
He's
thing. It's like
flighty.
everything's but he's got a good person side to him. So here's the thing. He's wearing both on the sleeve in a way that
I
is very
defended the good
human,
guy side,
right?
didn't I?
It's like we've got both sides, so we could speak very ill of our bad sides of ourselves, but we could also really celebrate the good sides. But we can't deny that there's within everybody,
But
you
I
know.
defended the good guy, didn't I?
No doubt, no doubt. I mean, you went pretty hard on the other side, but
But I also said, "Hey, I'll give you the shirt off my back, dude."
I mean, he might have needed two on that lashing there.
Yeah, well,
Let's
I
hope it was 100% cotton, no polyester on that.
and I just mean like, dude, do something,
Yeah, I
do
don't know how I
something.
feel about him overall, man. But overall, he seems like a generally nice human being that probably does have some of those other sides to him. But who knows? Joe Mazzulla makes me laugh. He's one of the funniest guys in the NBA. He's
Joe
a,
Mazzulla, that's the Boston guy, right?
yeah, and he's got a brother that's an assistant coach for Utah. And they asked him like, "Oh, what's it like to be coaching against your brother this game?" And he looks directly at the reporter, not smiling or anything. He's like, "He works for the other team." It's just like,
Yeah. Look, and
he's the most.
I'll be honest with you, G.
It's like Taekwondo verbally.
You are my brother, regardless of what happens with this podcast. But if you all of a sudden go to a rival podcast and I brought somebody else in because we parted ways, I'd be like, okay, now he's playing for a different squad. We can have a Pepsi after the game, but during this show, my goal is to be better than him. And if your goals aren't the same, you're in the wrong business, brother. Like,
Yeah, he is so dialed that way. Missoula is just like that's his like genetic
that's how
makeup.
you have to be.
Yeah, he's the
That's
right
how you
person for
have.
that Celtics job, man.
Well, I'd still like to see what Ume Udoka would have done with that squad as well.
I don't think he
But
could do it, man. Honestly, he's too much of an ego and hardcore guy for that crew, right? They're pretty prima donna, big ego, soft. They're tough as hell, but they're big ego softies. Whereas Houston, welcome to the dog pack. Everybody's a piece. Everybody's, you know, like
yeah,
very different
there's
cultures.
dogs in Houston.
One's royalty, one's are dogs. And I think Udoka fits much better with the dogs and actually would have imploded eventually with the Celtics because there's too much greatness going around. You need a guy that's pure business like Missoula. Um, Otherwise, you're bound for the emotional outbursts thing, and stars like Tatum and Brown don't do well with that. Just don't. Like Booker, right? Same thing. It's like, man, no, he's done now. He's shut down. I've seen Tatum and Brown uh, have
Oh,
moments like that.
okay,
Right?
okay. To be fair to Booker, since you defended Kerr, I'm going to defend Devin here a little bit. Is it because Devin shut down, or is it because KD shut down and Devin said, "Well, if everybody else is bringing it home, what am I busting my ass for?"
I'm pretty curious what's going on behind the scenes in Phoenix because it's dumbfounding,
I'm very curious.
right? Like LeBron and Luka make it work with literally a team that you could put together off the street, and they're making them look like, yeah, legit. Like they're making them look legit when they're playing,
Well,
right?
I keep going back to the Jackson Hayes thing. I keep going back to Luca makes him look like a competent center.
And even without Luka and LeBron, that organization of whatever it was, the Austin Reeves leadership, the Connect leadership of just guys that are handling their business and can shoot the MF and ball. There's something to it, right? There's something to it that's very confusing why Phoenix has been so unable to access any of that with two great players of that, caliber of Devin
Y-
Booker and KD.
y-
Like it's dumbfounding.
Can I call out the Phoenix Suns right now?
I think we got
Can
to.
I,
I think we
no,
got to. I think throw throw your finishing move.
you know how you just called me out too harsh on Steve Kerr? I'm about to be just as harsh on the Phoenix Suns. You know why the Phoenix Suns don't look like the Lakers? Because Austin Reeves, when it's his time to shine, he doesn't whine, he doesn't cry. He is a dog. He's give me the damn ball and get out of my way.
There's nobody in the NBA that I've come more like far from left to right on than Austin Reeves. So I will give him the biggest props because he's won me over, and I'm not super stubborn, but I'm not super easy to sway. And
No,
he
and
swayed.
I stood my ground on the kid for so long.
Yep.
Everybody's like, deal Austin, deal Austin. No, you don't want to do that. And
Yeah.
when Dalton was traded to the Charlotte Hornets, I said that was gonna hurt, but for the long term viability of the franchise, it was a move that needed to be made. But now Dalton has come back, and to Dalton's credit, when the trade was rescinded, he pouted for a couple of days, and then he said, "Let's get back to work."
Mm-hmm.
And Dalton had an outstanding game with Austin the other night. That's why it was a game because Austin and Dalton said, "Okay, our stars are out." Well, guess what? We're two stars in the making.
Bada boom. And why not in Phoenix? Why is Grayson Allen not that guy? He shot the best percentage in 3-pointers last year. What in the
Yeah, but
world happened?
Grayson is a role player to the extreme. Grayson is a lot like Najee Marshall. Grayson's a great NBA player, but he has to fit his role, much like Najee Marshall does in Dallas.
Yeah, he struggled outside of his role big time. Yeah.
So that's the
Mm.
thing with Grayson. The thing with Austin and Dalton is they are capable of saying, "Give me the damn ball and get out of my way." They
Yeah.
defer to Luka and they defer to LeBron, but in case you didn't notice, even against the good defensive teams, Austin's like, "You're gonna have to beat me." Austin is like, "You're gonna have to beat me,
Mm.
and you're gonna have to work to beat me." And in Phoenix, they don't have that. You know why? Because they got three fat cats that got all their money, and they didn't give any to anybody else. And the Phoenix Suns are lazy fat cats who don't care if they make the playoffs or not because they've already packed it in and they're already on their yachts for the summer.
That's the
Oh,
vibe.
I'm on fire tonight, aren't I? I'm just
Yo,
on
that's the
fire.
vibe. I love it, man. I'm here for it. Oh yeah,
Hey, at
we're
least
coming
with
around
me,
the
you're
bend too.
getting the straight goods, man.
Hey, this is a good one, man. We can cap this thing at an hour, and I think it'll be one of the best bangers yet.
All right, let's do that then. We'll get to the Cheryl Swoops thing real quick because I
Oh,
just saw this on the All the Smoke podcast with Barnesy and Jackson there, and she went off. She's like, You guys are big dummies because you hate on this Caitlin Clark, and she didn't use the word hate. She used the word despise. I will not put words in Cheryl Swoop or Cheryl Miller's mouth, but she's just like when you watch Caitlin play, it's like Caitlin's watching a 3D dimensional board, and she can see everything crystal clear, and she can make passes that make everybody look silly, as well as putting up her 20 points. She didn't just encourage her; she came to her defense, and she was like, "Cheryl doesn't really know what she's talking about because people are still waiting for her to fail." And she even said that is Caitlin hyped? She said yes, but imagine how hard it would be if she didn't live up to the hype, and there are people still waiting for her to fall. So, and then they asked, what was it like coaching Caitlin in the WNBA All Star game? And she was like, best coaching job ever. If you get a chance, check out that All the Smoke podcast with Cheryl Miller because it's one amazing listen. I'm paraphrasing, I'm not quoting before you all in the comments jump on me for misquoting Cheryl Miller.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was the funniest thing because she's like, "You big dummies! Everybody's eating at the table now. What are you hating on her for?"
And she's an
And I
OG, eh?
and I will say this: if you, as my friend or even as my coworker, make my situation better, why would I hate on you? That's what I don't understand. This is what I don't understand about the dub. If you're lining my pockets and making my life better, what reason do I have to hate on you?
That's a very, very human question, man. Like, it's a common problem in our world. That's a big one. That's a philosophical, deep question because I don't
But
think it's exclusive
but
to the dub. I think
but
NBA has
you're
a bit of
making
that.
my life better. I got no reason to hate on you.
Hey, man, they hated on Detroit Pistons the other night, and there was no reason for that. They're doing good things for the NBA. And JB Bickerstaff was right, man. He's like, just show us some respect. And there's bad calls, there's, this and that. But there was
All
sort of an
right.
expressed, you know, kind of a FU personal thing going on with one or two of the refs there. And it was very, like, in the
I,
moment, and love JB just sticking up for his guys. But he's right though in that one little principle of, hey man, Detroit's the ones that are doing it right. They're not tanking. They're freaking bringing young guys like growth and positive things to your NBA. Show them some respect out of like the refs, not the NBA. Like just the day to
I,
day
I,
human.
I will say two quick things and then we'll get to do to the week. One, um, the officiating this season has been absolutely atrocious. And I know
Classic.
and I know people will say as a Laker fan, you have no right to complain because you get most of those calls, and I get that. I'm the villainous team. I understand that. But what I'm also saying is when the calls do go our way, you can't say this, that, or the other. But also when it comes to teams like Detroit and Orlando and all those other teams, and even I'll even put Denver in this conversation, when those teams aren't getting calls, it gets magnified to a point where people hate the league because everybody then instantly goes to, well, if that was the Celtics or if that was the Lakers and they pin it on us, they would have got that call. And it's not beneficial for the league to be calling games that way. And when you have a young, upstart, exciting team like Detroit, you've got to help them out and give them the calls they're entitled to for not just the integrity of the game, but to build the fan bases of those cities.
That's it. Yeah, and the biggest goal of the referee, and I know they all kind of attest to this, is that they shouldn't the sign of a good ref is the sign of a good baseline. You don't even know it's there, right? It's just holding the whole thing together and you don't know that they're there. But when they've become the star of the show, something has gone terribly wrong and they've done a poor job. And unfortunately, they became the star of the show during that game. And that's what he was most lit about, is like, man, you're drawing all the attention away from what was a good game and guys hustling their asses off and just playing good basketball. You sent off our star, and it's just one game, whatever, and all that. But you know what? JB is my dog of the week, dude and dog of the week, because he hit that table with three like a
and
gavel,
and
and it was the best post game conference I've seen this year.
and that's the thing. Like as a Laker fan, I could sit here. I could have sat here for a half hour saying how Denver got a break at the end of the game, but I didn't do that. And you know why that is? Because I know on most nights that call would go our way, and just because it didn't on that particular night, um, it dims the breaks. But also, for the betterment of the league, the officiating has to be more consistent one way or another. If you're gonna call it tight, call it tight. If you're gonna let him go, let him go. But let us know early what type of game we're in for.
And you can't make it personal. That's the cardinal rule for refs, and they're human, right? They're gonna take it personal sometimes, and that's what happened. It got personal and it got messed up. But like, they can't make it personal. They're supposed to be the objective people just calling a game, because they ended up taking something personal and creating, yeah, a really upset situation, because Detroit's one of the few teams in their current setup where it's like you're an average team that are actually working hard. Like if we look at the league, you go down the list of tankers, most teams are doing the NBA no favors right now. They're actually doing one of those, right? They're giving them the biggest middle finger in the air, because they're like, hey, it's tank time. Leave us alone. Investigate all
And
you like. It's tank time. And for the refs or the NBA to pick on the ones doing it right is almost the worst thing. It's the absolute worst thing. And it
yeah,
just needs.
so that's the reason I didn't bring up the officiating because we'll get that call 8 times out of 10, and
Yeah.
that's just the way it is.
I've learned to
But
accept most
also,
things. Yeah.
my dude of the week is going to surprise you because it's from today and it has nothing to do with basketball.
Oh my God. I was going to do the same. Holy shit. Okay. Right on. Go ahead.
My dude of the week today goes to another Dallas Maverick. It's PJ Washington.
Oh, okay.
And and here's why. Because PJ came out today. Not only did he have a decent game, even though the Mavs lost, but I told you this wasn't about basketball. He got on the mic and he did what G has been begging the Dallas Mavericks to do for a long time. He's like, we turned the ball over 15 times. That's unacceptable. We should have won this game. We only lost by 5. But he then went on to say, look, the trade sucks, but it happened. We need you guys to get behind us here. We're still trying to win basketball games. And he basically called out the Mavs fans. And he basically said, look, I know the trade sucks. He's like, I know the trade sucks, but we're still here. We're still playing for you.
Facts.
And
Absolute
for,
facts. And good on him for
and for that,
saying it.
PJ gets my dude of the week.
Man, yeah, well said. I think, yeah, I'll stick with my JB for the dude of the week thing too, and I'll just give this other random shout out um, to close us off, because I think you'll like it. But yeah, good call, man. Really good call. I like our dudes of the week because it's people looking out for others, right?
Because
They're
it's like, yeah, okay, I'll admit it even as a Laker fan. The trade sucks. But you still have 10 guys out there playing their hearts out for you, and they need you too.
absolutely, they're showing up and they're grinding. And here's the other shout out I wanted to give today, man. And I want to know how you feel about this. Uh, Michael Strahan.
Oh, there's a name you don't hear on At the Buzzer too often. Continue.
he he has done something that no other athlete has done, is to have a complete second career in something that's not sports related whatsoever and crush it at the highest level of the most unique cutthroat business, like Regis and Kelly and shit like that, right? Like,
And the $100,000 pyramid.
And that's what I was watching the other day. I was like, look at this guy. He's still going. He's still doing Fox Sundays. He's been doing all kinds of game shows for how long? He did the Today Show. The man had a second career at the highest level of a completely different skill set. It's like he went to be a carver of wood, and it was just like, yeah, I'm at the best level of this now. It's like,
No,
that deserves more props than I think people take for granted. So here's
and
to
and you know what?
Michael
This,
Strahan. Come on, man.
and you know what? This term gets thrown around a lot, but in this situation, it's fitting. That's the Mamba mentality. Okay, I was the best at what I did for years and years and years, but now I'm gonna go and try and be the best at this thing that people don't think I can do, but I'm gonna show them I can do it. So, Michael Strahan, I'm with you, G. Shouts out to you. You probably won't see this, but shouts out to you
How
anyway.
stoked would it be
That's
if he
the def-
did, eh?
that's the definition of Mamba mentality, though.
It
Is
really is.
I'm gonna be the best at no matter what I'm doing.
And taking the chance, right? Really taking a chance on yourself to do something that you might fail at in front of the whole world. And he's like, give me that chance. I'll take it. Live with
Yeah,
Regis and me. He's just like,
I'll
who
take
is
that
this guy?
chance
He
too.
took the shot. He took the shot,
I'll
man.
take that chance too. And that's how the YouTube game is. You take a shot with every video you put out. So
Mhm. You never
to
know
all you
who's watching.
aspiring to all you aspiring YouTubers too, put out your next video. You never know what might happen.
Take some
But
chances. Absolutely.
but
But do it
Michael
with
Strahan, but Michael Strahan for being the definition of Mamba mentality this week, we're gonna give you the code double dude of the week from me and G there because you deserve it. And for my man G, the bistro of basketball knowledge, it's me, Mo Money, and you know how this goes. Until next time, may your ego come from a place that keeps you humble. Much love and respect to everybody out there. Mamba out.